What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Narcissist Code. I'm your favorite self-aware narcissist, Mr. Lee Hammock, better known as Mental Healness across all social media platforms. If this is your first time seeing my face or hearing my voice on my little mic right here, I'm a diagnosed narcissist and I use my platform to raise awareness for NPD, get more people into therapy, and also validate the victims and survivors of said disorder. Today's episode is going to be about closure from a narcissist, y'all. The old closure. How do you get closure from a narcissist? Is closure real from a narcissist? So this is going to be a two-parter, y'all. Two parts in the same video, so you need to stay tuned to hear both parts. Part one is going to be about how you get closure from a narcissist, or does it exist? And part two is going to be about how narcissistic people, when they ask for closure, what do they mean when they ask for closure? So I'm going to start off part one. Narcissistic people will rarely ever give you closure if you need it. Withholding closure as a narcissist gives them power over you to keep you around, to keep you longing and wishing that you could have changed. Like, they keeps you thinking that things would have been different. Maybe if you'd have tried a little harder. If you'd have tried harder, things would have been different. If you'd have changed a little bit more, things would have been different. What went wrong? What could I have done more? When you give your all to a narcissist, a lot of times how the relationship ends is very, very disrespectful. Very rarely will you get an amicable breakup with a narcissist. Very rarely will you get an amicable breakup with a narcissist where y'all just go y'all separate ways and y'all co-parent or whatever y'all have to do next. But because typically they disrespect you in the end. They either leave you viciously for somebody else, or they make you, or you leave them, or they make you leave them. So let the disrespect be the closure. I saw that one time before. Somebody said that on TikTok. I can't tell you who said it. It was a long time ago. But the disrespect should be the closure. The way they treated you should be the closure. That's enough. Closure is not something that they can provide for you anyway. Closure leaves you hoping, longing, and wanting some finality to everything. You want the end on good terms, because a lot of times you might be dealing with a narcissist. You might be a good person, so you don't want bad blood or bad energy out there, or somebody wishing harm on you and things like that. But you have to realize that closure is something that you give to yourself. Let the disrespect be the closure. Let the way they treated you, what they put you through, be the closure. Because guess what? Now, I know people say, like, after all we've been through, ask yourself that question, y'all. Y'all know my question. If you're not new here, if you're an OG, if you're a consistent follower and whatnot, you know what I'm going to say. You know what I mean? You already know what I'm going to say. I already said that disrespect is going to be the closure. But I also say that, you know what I mean, my mind just went blank. Y'all, completely blank right there. Goodness gracious. I just had a literal brain fart right there. Like, goodness gracious. It'll come back to me in a second, y'all. But closure is something you give yourself. It really, really is. You know what I mean? There's not something that they can provide to you. It's just not. You have to give it to yourself. Let the disrespect be the closure. Let your growth, once you ride that mountain, once you get off the top, once you understand what they put you through, you won't want to go back anyway. You know what I mean? You wouldn't want to go back regardless of the fact. Because narcissistic people they typically treat you so badly at the end of the relationship that you want answers. You do. You really, really want answers from this person as to why they treated you so badly, or why, you want answers for yourself as to why you put up with it for so long and things like that. Why wasn't you good enough? But they're not going to give that to you, y'all, because closure is something you have to give to yourself. You have to close that chapter yourself. You really, really do. You do. You just have to. Closure is something that you have to just stand on and understand that they can't provide you that, because it's internal. This you closing the chapter of your book. This book has been written. Let it close. Shut the door on it. Shut the door on it. Seal it up. Put the top on the Tupperware. Put the top on this old meal that is this relationship. Because what does closure really mean? Like you said, they want bad. Like I said, you might not want bad blood or anything like that, or you want some amicable breakup. But what does closure really mean? It's the end, the finality. A lot of people don't want it to be the end. You just don't, and that's truth. You don't want the relationship to be over and done with, especially if they left you for somebody else. Especially if they left you for somebody else. And the saying I was gonna say earlier came back to me, y'all. Did you go through it together, or did they put you through it? Ask yourself right there. Were you looking for closure from the relationship? Did you, after all we've been through together, did you go through it together, or did they put you through it? Sorry for that mind blank. If you stayed this long, drop a flame in the comment section. I know I went blank right there for a second, but Did y'all go through it together or they put you through it? How did the relationship end? If it ended violently or aggressively or evilly, or what, evil is not a word, but I said it. I just made it evilly. Is it a word? I don't know. Y'all let me know if that's a word. But the way the relationship ended, a lot of times it's not going to be a final ending to it. They might break up with you for somebody else, but leave a lot of their stuff at your house. They might they might, divorce you, but refuse to sign the paper. They might get separated from you, but refuse to sign the paper. So now there's no closure there either. Your relationship is still open, even though they might be engaged to somebody else or getting ready to have a baby with somebody else, but still legally married to you and not letting you go fully. They don't want it. Narcissistic people typically don't want the relationship to close up final, because they like to have that control over you. Control is everything. They like to control closure. They like to control the ending. Can we meet up for some closure? No, I'm not ready. Maybe later. That keeps you on the hook and doesn't allow you to move on with any peace a lot of times. That's why I said closure is something you have to give to yourself, because if you're giving that power of closure to the narcissist, they're going to run away with it. They're going to use that as a weapon, and they're going to use that as a sword and be stabbing the hell out of you with it. You know what I mean? So that's going to end at part one. The closure, you have to give something to yourself. But if a narcissist, part two, if a narcissist asks you for closure, that means they want the relationship to continue. They do. If you break up with a narcissist, you leave a narcissist and they ask you for closure, or if they leave you and they ask you to sit down for some closure conversation, that closure for them is a way to try to keep the relationship dynamic going. Whatever relationship you have going on, they want to keep their relationship going on the way it's going on right now. Well, because the double standards exist. They want to be able to go out and do what they want to do, but feel like they own you and you belong to them, so you can't do what you want to do. You see how that works right there? Narcissistic people don't want closure. They want to keep it going. They want to keep you around. Most of them. Not all of them are going to do this, y'all. I know everybody's going to have a different narcissist. This is not speaking for everybody. This is not me speaking for every single narcissist on this planet, y'all. This is me talking about myself and my situation, how I go about things, and predicting the behavior of a lot of other narcissistic people. So this is part of it right here. So if you're dealing with a narcissist, toxic person or whatnot, however the relationship ends, if they want to sit down with you, if they reach out to you, try to offer an olive branch and you deserve, and most times they'll do it, they'll try to guilt trip you into closure. They'll make you feel terrible after all we've been through. So the same thing applies what I said earlier. Did you go through it together or did they put you through it? Why did you break up with them? Stand by your breakup. Stand by it. Stand by your breakup. Why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you stand by it? They're going to make you feel guilty, like, oh, so you never really loved me. In 3 years, we've been together for 3 years, and now I can't even get some closure from you. You don't want to close it up. Maybe here comes the threats and unaliving themselves or not wanting to live anymore and can't eat, can't drink. They're sick. They're going to go to the hospital. They're having a panic attack. They need to go to the hospital. Only you can help them. The friends and family reach out because they're sick, haven't heard from them. Only you can help them, make them feel better. Blah, 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 boop, 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 beep, beep, beep. Y'all know how it goes, y'all. The cycle is so damn embarrassing, y'all. It really is. It can get extremely, extremely embarrassing to deal with toxic narcissistic people, because the more you go back, the more you tell your friends and family about how toxic this person is, and the more you go back, they don't look like the toxic person anymore. You do. If it's so bad, why a lot of people don't understand narcissistic abuse or toxic relationships. If it's so bad, why do you keep going back? They don't want to hear about the damn trauma bond. I'm trauma bonded. They don't want to hear about that. Who wants to hear about that other than another survivor? Even the narcissist. You tell some people told me, I told the narcissist, I told my narcissistic ex that I was trauma bonded to them, and they laughed in my face. Like, nobody want to hear you trauma bonded to them. No narcissist wants to hear that. Honestly, that's me keeping it real with you. No narcissistic person wants to hear that they're trauma bonded to you. You're trauma bonded to them. Like, you. So I put you through trauma, and you're bonded to me through that, right? Huh? I didn't put you through any trauma. I ain't abused you. You did it to yourself. You see how you just open yourself up to a world right there? So if you are looking at narcissistic videos and stuff like that, very rarely do these videos help a narcissist, y'all. Very rarely can you send a video like this to your narcissistic partner and have them understand your viewpoint, because they don't care. Because when they hear me on here talking about the stuff that I've done and vilifying myself sometimes, they're going to be like, oh, he a villain. That's not me. That's you. They're going to put it back on you. Very rarely does that work, y'all. Very rarely. I know people, how do I make them see that they're hurting me? Narcissistic people, toxic people don't respond to empathy. They respond to consequence. Do I say rock bottom typically is the only way. It just is. You mean? So let's time me to put a closure on this video, y'all. April 6th, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, y'all. I think the registration about to close up. The live webinar event is tomorrow night. How to recognize and overcome narcissistic abuse. Co-parenting, all the other stuff is going to be in there. Me and Ben Taylor, the other self-aware narcissist, one of them. Two therapists, two licensed therapists, counselors that have been with narcissists and help people deal with narcissistic relationships and trauma bonds and understand that. They help people understand the science behind it. And then also two survivors that are also life coaches and things like that that help people get out of relationships as well. The link is going to be in the description. It's also in my bio. Thank you so much. See y'all tomorrow night. Thank you. Peace.